Green Radio Show on 720 AM and 101.5 FM here in Las Vegas. Our show is produced by Green Alliance of Nevada and sponsored by NV Energy, and I am your host, Paul Iro. We have in studio Brian Kunec, president of KB Home of Las Vegas, and Greg LeMessurier, senior director of public relations. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. And we're talking smart homes, and sounds like very nice, comfortable homes as well. So let's talk about the photovoltaic, the solar, generation panel, battery storage, electric car charging, that kind of concept that's going on in your home.
Yeah, so Paul, at the project house out at Inspirata, we worked with Tesla, and we provided a very large array of solar panels on the home. I think it produces 8 kilowatts, so it's a fairly large-sized system on there. But the cool part about it is that coupled with, we have 2 power walls in the garage, and those 2 batteries, those power walls hold 13 kilowatts of power, and so they're charged during the day. And you could use those power walls to charge your car at night if you have an electric car like a Tesla, and you could also power your whole house. So it really creates an environment of making an energy independent home.
It's interesting how we're now using battery storage. And I'd said a few years back, whoever figures out the storage thing is going to be the next quantum leap in the energy efficiency world. I've got a JB3, one of those speakers that's a Bluetooth speaker that I use on when I'm working out in the yard and stuff. It'll actually charge 5 phones at the same time that it's playing music. So pretty cool stuff. So charging your batteries up so that you can run your home at night and charge your car with no electricity, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I know Tesla is, not to speak for them, but they're working on more innovative products as well. You know, as an example, I think it's fairly common knowledge that in the future, instead of having the solar panels that you see generally on everybody's roof, they're working on solar tiles, which they hope to bring into production soon, which essentially looks very similar to the roof tile you see on a normal house, but it's actually, each one of those is a powering panel that'll collect solar. So it'll make your house look, you know, a lot less obtrusive with the big panels on there, but still produce all the solar power.
One of the important things too is the cost. If you think about 10 years ago, the cost of solar and net zero home, you're talking $25,000, $30,000 for the same kilowatts that we have on the house. Today, you're looking $8,000, $9,000. So last 8 years, it's come down dramatically, which obviously makes it more affordable for home buyers in the area.
You know, when I first started working in Nevada in 2005, to buy solar panels was $12 a watt just to buy the panel. Now we're building solar covered parking for under $2 a watt. Yep. So yeah, the prices come way down. 8 kW, that is a very large system for a home. Is it all mounted on the roof?
Yeah, so it's mounted in 2 different spots. One set of panels is mounted on the roof of the garage, and the other set of panels is mounted on the back side of the actual main house.
Yeah, I think everything's south-facing.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's all good. We like it south-facing. Those north-facing solar arrays don't work with it, darn it. So let's talk about the Delos. I'm not familiar with that. Tell us about that and all the rest of these things that go together with Nest and Dish Smart Home Services.
Yeah, so we're ultra excited to talk about Delos and our partnership with Delos. So you have the Google Home system, which is kind of the brains of the operation with the Google Assistant. But that partnered with Delos, which has a system that's called Darwin, is focused specifically on the health and wellness factor of your home. So, you know, you go back over human history, and I think you'll find that the majority of the time people spent their time outdoors. And so, you know, pollution-free air, drinking clean water. Well, the fact of the matter is people nowadays spend about 90% of their time indoors. And so, you know, studies have shown that the biggest impact on your health and wellness, moreover than even exercise and getting outside and working and playing, is how healthy and how livable is your home within the indoor environment. And so Delos really focus on that with their Darwin system, and so it's really cool. It's got a couple components to it. It's got it deals with water purification. So it's got mechanisms hooked up to your main water supply that come in your house that actually clean it, and clean it extensively. As your water comes through the pipes in the public water system, it picks up certain material and minerals and things of that sort. The Delos system cleans that and purifies that water before it comes into your house. Another thing it does is air purification. So throughout the project house, there's, I think, 10 or 11 air monitors in each room. And you can look at your app and it'll show different parts of your house on the floor plan, and it'll show it as green if the air quality is acceptable, or if you get 20 people in a small room and there's a lot of CO2 that starts getting produced, it'll flash red, and it'll also remediate that. So when it finds too much CO2 in that room, it'll start up the fans and push more oxygen into that room to balance it out. So it really creates a clean air environment from a particle standpoint, but also from an oxygen and a CO2 standpoint. And then the third component is lighting. And so Delos really focused on circadian rhythm lighting. And so essentially what that means is they program the lights in your house through the Delos, the Darwin system, to go from very dim in the morning and follow basically the path of the light throughout the day. And so it helps wake you up. It slowly gets brighter in the morning. It peaks around noontime, and then it'll slowly start getting a little bit darker. And I'm not a scientist, but it supposedly at night affects your melatonin levels as it dims down, makes you a little more sleepy, so you get a good night rest at night.
So your house is controlling you.
It's suggesting.
Well, the CO2 concept, that's a great idea. I mean, we do a lot of that in the commercial world, or in like school districts and what have you. Put a CO2 sensors in the classrooms because it has an effect on studying. So it doesn't get monitored enough, but that's a great concept to have in a home as well.
Yeah, and we're excited. I think, today we're announcing that us as one of the larger production builders in the country, we're in partnership with Delos, and we're actually going to roll out on a production standpoint on a limited basis in California the first what I call production type models of the Delos Darwin system in our KB homes. So we're very excited about that, and we believe there's a bright future there. There's a lot more focus, obviously, on health and wellness, especially indoors, and so we're very excited about that partnership.
So with all of this capability of this home, how do you sit down with a homeowner, and how do you start with the design process with them?
And so on the design process side, I think it first starts with the floor plan itself, right? You need to make sure that it meets the needs of the homebuyer itself, whether they want single-story living or they want two-story living. And then you look at the structural options, right? How many bedrooms do they need? Is it a bigger family? Is it a retired couple? And then from there, we walk through and we pick the interior options. Again, our whole model is we want you to basically semi-customize your house to see fit on your budget. And so we go through the interior options. I see the technology part of this, the Google Home and the Delos that's going to get rolled out hopefully nationwide at KB Home in the future as part of that process. So that's another layer of the smart home process to where, you sit down with one of our design studio consultants or somebody from the Dish Network Home Services and customize a smart home system that makes sense for you along with your budget.
I love that stuff. That's great. So the homes are somewhat custom, and let's talk some more about this when we come back. KDWN 720 AM, Shades of Green.
Right.